Alright guys, welcome back. After all this annoying setup, we want to do some more interesting stuff. In this video, it's perfect to begin with this one. So in this video over here, we want to release our smartphone. So how can we do this? And what do I mean with releasing the smartphone? Well, let's have a look. Here we've got our laptop and we've got a smartphone. For example, this one over here. But this one, it's a consumer device and therefore some features are not being enabled by default. Those features can enable us as a developer to perform or investigate certain things. And these features, they are core features if we want to do some app hacking. If we enable them, then our smartphone will become unlocked. So this one has then more powerful features to inspect and interact with certain applications. And this one, it's a core feature to perform Android application hacking. To enable those developer options, this can be done within 3 simple steps. The first one is we have to go into the settings of our smartphone. And then we've got something like About the Phone, and within About the Phone we have to hit 8 times this build number. It hasn't to be that fast, it can be also a little bit slower. But after hitting this 8 times, we have now enabled those developer options and we can find them within our settings. The question is now, what makes them that amazing? So what's that important about those developer options? Well, let's have a look, because these are really underrated. The most important feature is of course the ADB shell, so the USB debugging. We can attach a USB cable to our phone and then we can start debugging, interacting with those applications. But those developer options have some really underrated options in there. For example, we can select the mocking location. Okay, might be not that interesting. We can spoof GPS location for applications. Sounds nice, but maybe not that interesting. All right, I get this point. Then we've got things like select and debugging application. Okay, it's getting interesting. Then we've got pointer location, and this is freaking awesome. We can get the exact coordinates of a view of our application and we can interact with this one. We have a nice example regarding to this one. But I guess the most underrated option is the Bluetooth HCI Snoop Lock option. So what is this? Well, if our application communicates via Bluetooth, for example, Bluetooth Low Energy, then we can lock every single byte into a file and we can analyze this afterwards. For example, with Wireshark. So this one is freaking awesome and absolutely helpful. Alright, so after all this hype up right now, let's start releasing our smartphone and then let's have a look in those amazing options. You ready for this? So let's finally start hacking something in our smartphone right now. Let's go. Alright, so here we've got the smartphone right now, and after enabling those developer options, all those things will be more handy. We can also replicate the screen on our laptop, but for now we have to enable them first. So let's see how we can do this. So all we need to do is we need to go under settings, and I've put on my glove that you do not see my fat fingers everywhere. Alright, and then within About the Phone, so we might have to scroll down a little bit. There we have it. We scroll down until we can see the build number. There we have it. So let's zoom in a little bit. Alright, so here we have it. And all we need to do is we simply need to hit 8 or I guess 7 times, not sure anymore, this build number. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we are developer. We are not a developer, but we have enabled those developer options. Where can we find them? Well, let's zoom out. Alright, and now let's go back one menu. And within System, we've got now this Advanced. And here we can see now developer options. So these are our developer options. Okay, let's open them. And here we have it. So we can see those developer options are on and we can now use them. Let's zoom in a little bit. Alright, the most important option for me right now is the USB debugging option, because then we can access this device via USB. So let's enable them, because then we get a lot of useful features. So let's see, we scroll down a little bit. Here we have it, USB debugging. So let's enable this. Alright, and we already get a warning, because enabling them, it gives us access to certain features of a device, and this could be of course critical. This is also the reason why I would like to use a dedicated device and not my real private device for app hacking stuff. Okay, that's a dedicated device, so I simply agree. And that's it. So now we've got USB debugging enabled. Let's zoom out. Alright, so this is the whole picture right now, but this picture on the smartphone, it's not really convenient. let's get this picture on our laptop screen. The only thing we need for this is this USB cable. So we plug this USB cable in, and then we are using our ADB, our Android Debug Bridge, to get this screen on our laptop, because then we can browse through all the other features. And yeah, this is all way more convenient. Alrighty, let's do this. Alright, so let's see how we can get the screen of our smartphone on our laptop. And the things we need are a smartphone, this USB cable, and some tool. Let's have a look. I plug this in. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure that the device is connected to our virtual machine. And therefore we have to go into the virtual machine settings, then USB. And here we have to make sure that the device, in my case it's a Google Pixel 2, is connected to our virtual machine. So we can see I can disconnect it. It means it's being connected. All right? Okay. After this device has been connected, we can open a new terminal, and then we simply type in ADB shell. ADB, we have set this up in the installation video, and if you have skipped this, I mean, I can fully understand that you have skipped this installation video, but maybe you want to rewatch the last half of it, because there we set up the Android SDK, and if this is new, this might be very helpful to you. All right? Okay. So after setting up the ADB, so the Android Debug Bridge, we can now use Android Debug Bridge, and we execute the command shell. And now we can see, we're getting an error. And this one says ADB servers ADB vendor key is not set. So if we look on our smartphone right now, then we can see some kind of screen we have to accept. So this means allow USB debugging. The computer RSR key fingerprint is the following. Do you trust this computer? I say yes, always allow connection from this computer. And now we're good to go. So after making sure that the device is being connected via USB and that we have given those permissions, it should work. Let's see. Yes, so here we can see the terminal changes. This one, the fancy color stuff, is our Linux system, our Ubuntu VM. And this one, Walleye, is now the Pixel device. So that's the shell of the Pixel device. We have now access to this device over here. All right, there could be a case that you get an additional error. And this error is regarding to the USB data transfer. So maybe let's get the screen on the laptop finally, and then let's have a look into this one. So how can we get the screen? We have to use a tool which is a screen copy, so SCR copy. I'm using apt-get install. By the way, if we use exit on the Android Debug Bridge shell, then we enter our system once again. So at the beginning, it's a little bit confusing, those different terminals. Remember the color one, this is our Linux system, and the just white grayish one, this is our device. And we can also see this code name of this device. Pixel 2 has code name Walleye. Pixel 3 is, I guess, Sailfish. I'm not sure about this one. Nexus is Hammerhead. This is something I know for sure. Okay, so, but we want to install something. So let's see. apt-get install, SCR copy. Yes, we need root privileges. So we add sudo. We enter the password. And now, yes, it's going to be installed. Okay. So SCR copy is a tool which is using the Android Debug Bridge to print the screen on our laptop. Let's do this finally. We simply start this tool by typing in SCR copy. I clear the screen and make this a little bit larger. There we go. All right. And here we have it. This is our device. Perfect. So now I can show you all these things a little bit better. In case if you get an additional error, this might be regarding to USB and data transfer. So if you normally just plug in your device, it might be only charging, which is, I mean, perfect. In case if you just want to charge it, then there is no need to transfer data to give someone access to this device. But regarding to this one, access is required. And we can set this part if we drag this down. So that's absolutely fancy. We can use the mouse right now to show all of this. And then here we can see Android system charging this device via USB. Okay. Tap for more options. Let's open this. Yes, you might want to set it to file transfer, Android Auto. Okay, we can see it's restarting right now. And now we get this message that we are reconnecting this device. I say yes, connect this device to my virtual machine. Always keep this connected. Okay, and this should solve your error. So now if you're opening the ADB shell, then the other error should be gone. All right? Okay. So this is all for this video right now. And let me close this, put this on the left. All right. What have we done? We have enabled developer options. Oh, one last thing maybe, one fun fact. If you go into settings and then within system, there's an Easter egg in here. Is it within system advanced? No, sorry. It's about the phone. Yes. The Android version has some kind of Easter egg in there. So if we press or tap this a few times, oops, this one, then we can see, hey, we got something. I'm not sure if that's useful, but I mean, it's an Easter egg. And if you notice, then you might sound or look like absolute legit right now, right? Absolutely. So in case if you have another version, those versions are named after sweets. It did start with cupcake. Then we've got something like version 6 was marshmallow, nougat, and stuff like this. So it's A to Z, and it's always sweets. All right? Okay. But now, back to this one. So what have we done? Besides playing around over here, we have enabled those developer options. So within System, Advanced, we have now those developer options. And yes, here we have them. So in the next couple of videos, we will figure out what is important and interesting for you and what can be skipped. I mean, there are some really cool options that you might not be familiar with, and those can be super useful to hack games or analyze Bluetooth applications or do other amazing stuff. Alrighty? Okay, so therefore I'm really looking forward to see you in the next videos.